Hello, this is Bill Claudsey, and welcome to a Legendary Cube Draft. This is a cube where most of the creatures are some kind of legendary creature. It's over-the-top spells, a lot of crazy things happen, and there's a lot of cards to read. So one strategy is just to force an archetype. Now that there's some archetypes, enchantments, graveyard, zombies, elves maybe, dragons, different routes you can take. I like this Elish Norn to take first and maybe go into a token strategy or some kind of thing like that. It's just follow your preference and you can kind of build a 2 or 3 color deck. So here's a good elf card, I guess. But yeah, I'll pick Elish Norn first and see where that takes us. A Chroma, another big white creature. And there's also Mirari's Wake, which I like quite a bit. You ramp up to big spells, it makes tokens bigger, just like Elish Norn does. And that's a pretty good start here. Another good one here is Selesnya Sanctuary. It's card advantage, also helps cast things larger than you normally would be able to. But I'll take this Mirari's Wake. And follow it up with, there's a few options. There's Transguild Promenade, which is going to be good in most decks just to help fix colors. Sunpetal Grove is our colors. I'm not sure what this thing is. Crib Swap didn't play back in Lorwyn or whatever this is from. Mind Stone is quite a nice one. And then there's Omnath, which is interesting with Mirari's Wake. So green mana doesn't empty from mana pools. Mirari's Wake or Mind Stone. Yeah, it's possible the Omnath wheels, it's not super important, and Mind Stone is just great. It's hard to beat a Mind Stone. Oh, enchantments. Yeah, the other archetype I would be interested in is enchantments. We already have a Mirari's Wake, and I've got a soft spot in my heart for Enchantress. I have one Legacy deck, and it happens to be a terrible Enchantress deck, but I have won some matches with it. So anyway, Mesa Enchantress is not like a common card, but it is one of the cards that's good. And what reminded me of this thing was Ancestral Mask. This card is amazing. But more important in the Enchantress decks are the Enchantress effects, and this is one of the few in this cube, I believe. Elsewhere Flask, take a quick look at this. Huh. That's kind of weird. It just has this minor effect when you sacrifice it, but you draw a card when it enters the battlefield, so it's not all that bad. Sandstep Citadel could be good. And I'm not sure what this thing is. It looks pretty weird, some kind of spirit. Number of cards in your hand. Okay, so the more cards in your hand, the more beefy this guy is. It looks like I'll take Sandstep Citadel here. Oblation is kind of cool, but I'd rather help fix mana a little bit earlier. Temple of Plenty could be a nice one. Rhea Dawnbringer. This deals in creatures and it's expensive. I don't think it's necessary here. Whereas Temple of Plenty's fine. I'll take that. Everything else doesn't really do well with our first picks. Dramoka. This is a pretty cool one. It's good, you know, it's a bomb. It eventually gets there, but it doesn't really work well with what we have so far. Whereas maybe Jungle Shrine is better. Flamekin Village is pretty cool. Give anything haste, but we're not in red yet. I'll take this Jungle Shrine. Brittle Effigy is okay. Kill some artifacts with Glissa. The Moaning Well looks like it would be decent with, you know, just creatures. Sometimes you're under a lot of pressure and you need to gain some life, so that would be worth considering. I think it's that or this Nomad Captain. And the Captain could be good in a big token strategy. So it's tough. It's between these two. And I guess we're more likely to want tokens, so. Yeah, some kind of Abzan or Naya token deck. Really, the nice part about these lands is they're both black, or they're both green-white lands, and that seems to be what we have set up so far. It's possible we just go in a completely aggressive direction with this deck and cut, like, Mesa Enchantress. Oh no. Hopefully we don't have to do that. What is this thing? You may put... oh. Okay, nothing really has come back here. Staff of Domination could be cool. Elvish Harbinger. That Wield, maybe Elves is open, maybe that's a thing. Yeah, I'll take that. Building up a lot of Elves and then somehow having Elish Norn in play or Mirai's Wake. That could do it. Oh, Sanctuary's back. Yeah. That might be a good sign that white-green is the place to be. Because that pack didn't, you know, this was a card I was considering taking out of that pack. Pretty good. Mulch and Trading Post. So Trading Post gets goats. Goats are tokens. Tokens get bigger with these effects. That seems good. Reese or Riss or whatever. The Exiled, you gain 1 life for each elf you control. I'm not sure how good that is, but it's an elf. Ooh, Doomwig Giant. Oh, actually, yeah, let's take that. This is the promo art for it, so it's kind of hard to identify it, but that's quite a nice one if you get enchantments going. Nothing here. I don't know. I'll take this guy. And... yeah, I'll take some Golgari cards in case that's a thing. And it might be Golgari has some token generation and some graveyard synergies. Alright, what do we have in this pack? There's Crush of Tentacles, Sylvan Ranger, and some other stuff. I don't see any good enchantments. Outpost Siege might be okay. Choose a color. Sword of the Animist might be okay as well. Sylvan Ranger enters the battlefield. Search your library for a basic land card. Reveal it. Put it into your hand. Then shuffle your library. That might just be good enough. Kemba would be cool, but it takes some equipment to make it good. Each player draws a card. Yeah, I'll take Sylvan Ranger. You can't really go wrong with Sylvan Ranger. Lotus Veil, what is this thing? Whoa, sacrifice 2 untapped lands. Alright, so it upgrades to 2 lands into 3 lands or something like that. Priest of Titania. If we're going elves, that's a good one. There's also... yeah, no enchantments here, so maybe elves is the way to go. Crucible, some dragons, big thing. Yeah, Priest is a good one. Eidolon of Blossoms. Perfect. This is another Enchantress effect that doesn't work exactly like an Enchantress, but when enchantments enter the battlefield, you get to draw a card. So that's pretty good. And the most exciting thing here for me, so I'll take that. You can simplify a draft like this by forcing an archetype and just ignore everything that isn't your color. And that's probably a good strategy to start out with. We could be elves and enchantments. I'm not sure how good that is. Or maybe we should take something like Skybind or Silent Sentinel and really commit to enchantments. But Raphaelos is so, such a strong one that maybe I'll just take that. And these are weaker components of an Enchantress deck, so I'm not too sad to leave them behind. Tundra's a nice one as well, but no blue as of yet, so I'll take the elf. Alright, here's a great one. Reese, it's another Reese, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name. Or Rice. The Redeemed. Yeah, each creature token you control, put a token... Oh, if we could get this in doubling season, that would be the best, but this looks like it's perfect for our deck. Elves, tokens, all that good stuff. And we've got another elf here. Nisa, Vastwood Seer, and Sage Animist. Helps find some lands. Nothing too bad about that. Thraxamunder's pretty cool. Perilous Vault would be annoying to play against. We just have to hope we can beat that in time. Alright, Glimmerpoint Stag is kind of interesting. Beginning of the next end step, you can blink maybe something like an enchantment with Eidolon of Blossoms or Doomwake Giant. That could be cool. I'm ignoring kind of the red cards. We could consider Boros Garrison, even though we don't have red, just because it's card advantage. And this thing doesn't look great, so I'll take the Stag. Praetor's Council. Pretty epic card, but don't know how good that is, unless you're just committed to the late game. Oblivion Stone might be a good one to cut. We do have a lot of mana potentially. I'll take Praetor's Council. And then Sword of the Animist. I mean, we have the Animist, so we could grab her sword. I don't love it here. It's a good way to build up advantage over the game, thin your deck out, so it might be okay. But I'd rather do something a little more over the top. Kind of commit to one of these directions, to go full elves or full... what the heck is this? Ooh, it becomes a big demon. Lotus Veil, yeah, I'm not sold on any of these. I guess... What's this? Huh. Is Lotus Veil any good? I don't think this is any good, but hey, it has Lotus in the name, so it must be good. Heroes Podium, that's kind of cool. We do have a couple legendary elves, but they did take out the restraint that all creatures in the cube were legendary, and it kind of loosened up the the draft enough to make it a bit better. One of the enchantment cards disappeared here, so we're definitely being cut, because that one, it's not a very interesting card. But we'll take this other one. Vertiloth, another token type creature. Oh, what's this? Rebel. Definitely a rebel. So it costs 6, but you can also kicker X and put that many Saprolings into the battlefield. So this is a good card to ramp into with Raphaelos or something like that. Explore, that's not a bad one. Whoa. Immaculate Magistrate. This is one of the cards that works if you're just all elves. But we've kind of got a mix between elves and humans. There's also Sarah's Sanctum. Oh, wow. Yeah, well, assuming we're getting at least some of the enchantments. Serra Sanctum should be good. And it's definitely worth having, assuming we're in a lot of enchantments, so I'll take that. Alright, we're probably right next to the person drafting enchantments. Alright, we've got Cephalid Colosseum. And not much else. Slice in Twain. Alchemist's Vial, no. Kytheon and just go more aggro. Kytheon and Nissa combination. Or Slice for the sideboard. What is this thing? Azuri. You get an experience counter. I don't know, maybe this is good. We don't have any blue. I'll take Kytheon. Alright, and that said, we've got this guy. Draw cards for casting enchantments. We've got Sword of the Chosen, which is kind of cool. And Zendikar Resurgent, which is a nice thing to do with extra mana and creatures. And it kind of works with with elves in our enchantment theme. So I'll take that, but I'm not convinced it's amazing quite yet. Alright, here's another Azuri, the non-Simic version of Azuri. And this guy's pretty good in an elf deck, I would say. So we can kind of commit here. We could also consider Carador, another big ghost thing. But Azuri looks good. Farhaven Elf. We have enough of these 3-drop elves, I think. I'll get some goats with this. Druidic Satchel might be nice. This is Merfolk, not an elf. And when you get a basic land card... that looks pretty good. Farhaven Elf. That means we can easily play something like Doomwake Giant and play a single swamp in our deck. Titania. Is that any good? I mean... oh, she's not an elf? The name sounds like it should be an elf, but Titania's not just an elf queen, but in this case, an elemental. Now, we don't have any ways to reliably sacrifice our lands, right? We don't have, like, wastelands and fetch lands or anything like that, so I'm not sure how good this is. Is it supposed to be good in this? Who knows? Krufix Insight. Well, I'll take it. It's green. Nothing else here seems great. Maybe Orem was okay. Voice of the Woods? Whoa. Sure. We can try to assemble a lot of elves into play and make voice good. Wrath. Nissa's Revelation. Well, we have Nissa, so get rid of that for now. Elish Norn, Splinter Fright, Raid Mother. Yeah, I guess I'll take the Revelation. So we can gain a lot of life and draw some cards. We don't have huge creatures in our deck, so maybe that's wrong. This Immaculate comes back. That's a good sign. Okay, so it looks like we finally have a direction, and that's sort of mono-green elves splashing white. It doesn't look like we have a creature big enough for the Revelation. Sword of the Animist is probably good enough. Number of creature cards in all graveyards, that could be okay. And we don't have that many enchantments. Does Trading Post let you sacrifice a land? No, it doesn't look like it. That would work well with Titania here. Yeah, let me read this again. When it enters the battlefield, return a land from your graveyard to the battlefield. So the way I see it, we don't have any ways to get lands in our graveyard. Then, whenever a land you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you get an elemental. So we don't have a way to do either of those things. Yeah, I guess cards like Tracker's Instinct or Mulch would work. Here's Azuri. Maybe it's worth splashing blue for this type of thing. I mean, it's an elf with 2 Azuris. Claw of Progress, whatever that means. Tuk-tuk. I don't know what to take here. Actually, I like sort of the Animist here to help find things like Azuri, or an island for Azuri, the extra planes for Elishnorn. Each player draws a card for each creature card in his or her graveyard. Don't know how good that is. During each of your turns you can cast... Yeah, this card is expensive and I'm not sure how good it is. But this card gets goats, so that might be worth it. Runechanter's Pike, and some other red card that I'm not going to read. Looks like we need 1 or 2 more cards in the main deck. Hero's Podium. How many creatures are legendary? I think with all of these elves, it's not as likely that... we can cut Titania. 5 for a 5/3 is just not, not what you want. So not all of our elves are legendary, which kind of makes sense. I'll put Kytheon back in. It's sort of more aggressive, and that's fine with the way this deck is. I've got 9 legendary creatures. That's not really maybe enough for Hero's Podium. But who knows, maybe it is. The Revelation is not as great as it might look. The Council is pretty cool. And that is 22, where we do have some fixing. Maybe we put in Glimmerpoint Stag, although I'm not sure what that does exactly. It can put in Sylvan Ranger. That works with it. Harbinger, Farhaven Elf, Eidolon, I suppose. Okay, so it has 4 combos. This works with any permanent, however. So let's see. Yeah, that's still just about all it works with. Chomeno, it's not an elf. Mesa Enchantress, we didn't end up with quite enough what? Enchantments to really make this work. Eidolon is pretty good just on its own, so I'll accept that. And this is 23 cards, but I don't really love the Glimmerpoint Stag. There's not really good enough combos with it. Maybe that means Hero's Podium is better. I guess it can find a legendary creature if we're out of stuff to do. So it's between that and something like Glimmerpoint Stag, where it's just going to be better than that. So color, mostly green. And we can play like 1 island for the Azuri here. Mostly green, 4 or 5 white. And that should be a day. So 4, 12, go 11, 5, 1. Then, once you have kind of the best case without any fixing, we can start taking cards out. So we've got 2 white-green cards. Take out one of each of those for that. Jungle Shrine and Sandstep Citadel also fix white-green. Serra Sanctum is white. Ooh, I don't think we play Serra Sanctum, come to think of it. There's not enough enchantments. Springjack Pasture. I also like, given that we have so much fixing, I also like cutting another green for an island. Alright, so something like this. Springjack Pasture might be good. Gain some life for sacrificing goats. It seems a bit slow. A little bit too slow. So it's hard to say how good this deck is. It doesn't look amazing, but it does look serviceable. So we'll try it out.